Hello, I'm Liz Shelbo, and I'm here with Luke Miller, who is a gentleman that I met at the Studebaker International Meet in Mansfield, Ohio, and I found him to be extremely interesting and factual, and I'd like to ask him a few questions for you. Luke, hi.
Hello.
Hi. So what is the name of what you do when you're in school?
So I go to school at Pennsylvania College of Technology for the Automotive Restoration Technology degree. It's a 2-year associate's degree where we specialize in specifically restoration of older vehicles.
And how long does it take? It takes 2 years. And what happens when you get that degree, the 2-year degree?
So you end up with an associate's degree that you can either go out and work in industry with, or you could go back and re-enroll in the school. After I received my degree, I went back for Automotive Management Technology, which is the 2+2 degree. So I will get an associate's degree and a bachelor's in science.
Oh, you'll get them both at the same school?
Yep.
Awesome. So tell me about the project you were working on just recently.
So when I was at school for automotive restoration, one of the main projects we worked on was a 1908 Studebaker named Tommy from the Swaggart Museum. And it was already cosmetically restored in the 50s as a set piece, but a group of my classmates got together and we figured out how it worked and got it mechanically running for the Elegance at Hershey and the Amelia Island Concourse.
Oh, awesome. Can you tell me, what do you know about that automobile? What was it used for? Because I think it might be kind of interesting.
It was bought by the U.S. government, contracted from Studebaker to transport senators from the U.S. Senate buildings to Congress. There's an underground tunnel that's about 700 feet long, and those two cars are made and did about 225 trips a day.
Yes, I heard that too. It's really cool.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a significant part of history.
Yeah. Well, going back on your education, you can get both the associate's and the bachelor's degree at the same school?
Yes, so Penn College is one of the only institutions that allows you to do what is called the 2+2 degree. So use an associate's degree and turn it into a bachelor's degree.
Great. I have one more question for you. The school is located where again?
The school is in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, which is about north-central Pennsylvania.
And where are you from?
I'm from the Eastern Shore of Maryland, down by the Bay Bridge.
Okay, I think my associate has some questions for you now. His name is Steve, and I think it's about the electric car.
This car here is Tommy, and this is the first time that this car and its sister car Peg have meted in 80 years. The U.S. government contracted Studebaker to build these two cars to ship the senators from the U.S. Senate offices to the Capitol in a tunnel. These cars, because they were used in a tunnel, they're designed to drive forward in both directions. So once the driver got to the end of the tunnel, he'd simply stand up, switch seats, and drive forward back the other way. These cars weren't used for very long, but they were the first ones. They were used from about 1908 till 1912, and then only used during high occupancy levels when they needed more vehicles to move more people through the tunnels. And then they were officially sold off in 1939, and this is the first time that they're getting put back together since then.
Luke, how were the cars powered?
The cars were each powered by 12 6-volt batteries that ran for the first 2 speeds in parallel, and then the second 2 speeds in series in order to get the more voltage and effectively drive faster.
What kind of restoration work did you have to do on this?
So this car was actually restored in the 1950s by a group Mr. Swaggart hired. They didn't do anything mechanical with it, they purely restored it to be a set piece. This car was invited to an electric class at the Elegance at Hershey and the Amelia Island Concourse, where they needed to run for the event. So they loaned it to Penn College, where a group of us would work after hours to figure out how it worked and then what we needed to get it running. And it took a lot of people to not only figure it out, but also manufacture new parts because they were worn out and needed to be replaced.
Right. Awesome. So you took care of all the mechanicals.
Yes, so
Yeah,
it was purely mechanical.
Very good.
So the motor needed to be rebuilt, or motors?
That was one of the things that, if the motor needed to be rebuilt, it would have been too much for us to do. So we're
Sure.
glad that the motor was not.
Oh,
It
good.
was still in working condition. The car was stored really, really well, and like really, other than figuring out how it works and a little bit of cleanup, it really just ran on its own.
Great. You want to point out?
one last question. What made you become interested in vintage cars, in automobiles?
That's a big question.
Yeah.
I've just always found the computers today are just kind of, it feels like it's almost cheating. So I like the older technology and the stuff that's like more mechanical, and it's just more of a puzzle to figure out than just something telling you how to do it, what to do, and the specifics of it.
It's a mystery, magical thing.
Yeah, and it's more of an art, and it's just, I don't know, something that's always just piqued my interest. I can't really explain it more than that.
Yeah, you just have an aptitude
Yeah,
for
just
it.
whenever I see an old car, I can't just not smile at it.
Where's the motor on this?
So, depending on where you drive it, the motor will always be in the back. So, the motor is back there.
I got you.
And so, if you're driving it, I guess, this way, then it's forward steer, but when you're driving it that way, it's rear steer. So,
Oh, okay.
it can
I
get a
see
little
what you're
bit
saying.
complicated.
So,
And this is Peg here.
Yes.
Peg is the same as the...
Yes, they were both built at the same time. Peg
think,
is its
Dave?
original color.
That is so cool.
Yes.
All pegs are yellow, you know.
It's originally called canary yellow.
Oh, really? Yeah.